Hello again, I am Jim Bob. Welcome back to another episode of Jimsville, here with some City Skylines on the PS4. And, well, things look different again. It's been about a week since I last did some recording, and I've spent the last couple of hours kind of tearing down a few things and rebuilding a few things. The road that we put in was kind of a good proof of concept, was a little bit flawed. So what I've tried to do is actually make something a little bit more functional at volume, or at least I hope will be a bit more functional at volume. So I'll show you what I've created. So I've extended the size of this roundabout a little bit here, just to make the traffic flow a little bit better around this roundabout. Obviously there's a lot of traffic coming in and out via this roundabout, not just in terms of the stuff that moves around in here, but also the traffic that transfers between Johto and Kanto. Creates a lot of extra traffic on that roundabout as well, so making it a bit larger means it moves a little bit faster between each of those junctions. What I've also done here is rebuild this section here, and we'll go through that in just a second. The other thing I've done is tinker once again with our industrial area, just to make things a little bit smoother. So the main change here is that we now have a 3-lane road running all the way down here, because the traffic runs faster with this highway than it did with the 2-lane. It just moves at a faster speed, let alone the fact that we now have 3 lanes of traffic. And it's only showing a little bit of traffic at the moment, not as much as usual, because obviously we stripped out all of that residential and commercial. That will obviously get a little bit heavier. The other change is to then have a 2-lane split and a 2-lane split there. We've got a little single lane feed off just there to allow traffic to loop around, as well as a single lane traffic loop off there, and I've made that single lane as well, so that these two feeder roads will both feed in 1 lane at a time like that, and it just, again, it aids traffic flow into that little piece of road just there. Everything else has remained pretty much unchanged around here, so all I did, as I said, was just change that piece of road there, and then here is where the other change is. What I've done is I've created another piece of freeway that will loop off and join up with our ring road, and our ring road system is underground. So let's take a look at that. So we just go into roads for a second, and then I'll drop you down, and you can see here that our main roundabout feeds in and goes down 2 levels, and here's the feed in from our industrial estate. So all of these businesses are currently sort of struggling because we've got no workers, because we demolished all of our residential. So we've lost a population of around about, let's see, we've lost around about 8,000 people. We'll get those back in a moment. But here's where the line here comes, and it's just one way to feed into this bit here, and this is a one-way kind of system. So the traffic comes in this way, feeds down to this first roundabout here. We've got one way coming up on this side, and then one way on this side going down to that roundabout, and this is going to be the heart of our sort of commercial slash business area. So this is where most of the goods traffic is going to be coming, and then further on down here is another sort of roundabout which comes back up to the surface, and this is where we have our stadium, and this will be residential around here as well. And you can see I've also put in a little subway footpath here, just to see if that makes things a little bit easier for stopping people from constantly crossing at that junction. And this here is a metro station that I've preemptively put in just there to try and create our metro system. We need to get more people in so we can start replacing some of those workers, but we're only going to do small sections. We're not going to rebuild all of our commercial just yet. I want to start placing in our metro system before we do that, and I need to relocate our bus terminal. That's been stripped out completely. So the road network that we have above ground, as I say, this feed-in is going to be into our residential district over here. You can see I've put some bus laning in to try and aid a bit of movement. It's 2-lane at the moment, but I'll probably upgrade that to 3-lane. So there'll be 2 lanes of traffic and the bus line. That's probably the way I'm going to go. Then this here is going to be sort of business slash commercial, so a combination of offices and commercial traffic will be in here, and then we've got a nice sort of bus route going through the heart of that. And then over here, we'll be adding in another residential district all the way over here, and then we've just got our little services section over here. So a couple of bus terminals, a couple of taxi terminals, and then 4 incinerators. That should hopefully generate enough waste management services and also bus services and taxi services to service what is quite a large area here. And of course, putting them just here means that these services will all be able to sort of jump onto our little ring road system down there, as well as also taking the route along here along the surface. So let's start zoning in before we go any further. Let's start getting some people into our new city. So I'm going to go with Phil. I'm going to create some blocks of residential around here. I want to try and be wary of where the traffic feeds in. We're going to make all of this residential along here. I want to try and keep some gaps alongside this main road initially. I might zone in right against it a bit further down the line. But all of this here is going to be our sort of residential block. So let's zone this in as residential as well. We are going to need to add in services, so we're going to need to add in police and fire and education and all that jazz. So let's start doing that as well. Plus we're going to need healthcare. So, oh, that reminds me as well. Thank you very much for letting me know that the symbol I didn't understand at the was actually not enough good healthcare in the area, which is why that symbol kept popping up. I understand that one now, so we can make sure we don't make that mistake again. I'm actually going to plop in more than one hospital, so we're going to have one there, and we'll probably have another one over here as well somewhere, and then we might have a couple of small clinics in the centre as well. We have no power at the moment. Let's see if we can get power diverted across. There we go. So we have power going in there. That's good. The station is turned off at the moment, as is the taxi rank. Let's turn those back on. I just did that so I didn't have to pay the upkeep. And in doing this, I've actually spent about 1.2 million in ripping everything up and then rebuilding everything, and obviously paying a lot in services. But we're starting to see some people moving into the area. Let's carry on putting in services. So we want police and fire, and I want these to be in a pretty good location. I'm thinking here might be a good spot for police and fire. We put police just there, and if we put fire opposite just there, then they're servicing this district, but they also have access to this road here, which means they also have quick access to our ring road system just there, or potentially, you know, coming in this way. This is kind of a mess of one way at the moment. This needs to be reworked in places. At least I think it was a mess of one way. I put some one way in somewhere. I must have ripped it up and started again. I'll have to keep an eye out for where the one-way stuff is. But this should all be two-way traffic around here. Apart from this little bit here, this is one-way, just to a traffic flow, so traffic can come in off the off the roundabout, turn straight in here for the stadium, park up at the stadium, and then when it gets to here, then there's a split where it can either go that way or more likely just turn and head back towards the roundabout. So we may get a couple of queues in terms of exiting here, but I'm comfortable with that. So let's see if we can take a peek. Oh, actually, let's finish putting our services in. Let's get our education in. So let's have an elementary school just here, and let's pause time for a second so nothing else grows in. and allow us to put in some decorations as well. Where is my small playground? There it is. So that won't fit. That's a bit of a shame. I don't really want to... Let's see. I'm just looking about maybe putting in a plaza or two. Now that's awkward because of the way the zoning splits between the two roads. It won't actually let me place it sideways, and I can't rotate that because that's rotated by where it joins the road. So we can drop a plaza in just there, so let's do that. Like so. Yeah, that looks alright. The plaza with picnic tables opposite the stadium. What else can we put in? We need to put in a park or two to raise land value because it's going to be a little bit iffy in places. So where do we just drop our school? There's our school. Let's put a park right opposite the school, like that. And then, can we get our elementary school, our high school, the other side of that? We can. It won't fit in there. I'll drop a school in there. It's definitely going to eat up quite a big chunk. Let's see. It's just a shame that gap isn't a little bit wider. In fact, I'm going to make it a little bit wider. I'm just going to move this road just enough to allow us to put in a high school. So let's put that school in. Why wouldn't that go in there? Why won't it go all the way? Again, you can see the breaking in the lines as to where that school can be placed. Can I move the elementary school across enough? Yes, I can. So now I should be able to get that high school. There we go. So we have our two schools in, elementary and high school, with a nice little park opposite. So let's put that road back in. Like that, around the back. Beautiful. Let's put in a university so we can train up people for office jobs. Don't really want to put the uni too close to the high school. Sorry, to the primary school. And I might put it in there. I get the feeling that would be quite a good place for a park of some kind. Let's see. I'd rather it dropped at the end of a row rather than part way along. Let's put it there, so it's not too far from our little plaza there as well. That's not a bad spot, I think, for our university. We've done police and fire. We've done healthcare. Trash services are taken care of. Let's put in a couple more decorations and then we can speed time up and get some more people in. What else have we got? Park with trees. That's quite big, isn't it? Large playground's quite big. Plaza with trees. Yeah, these aren't too big. Let's get a small plaza with trees in. We can put one of those can we drop one of these? I want it to have a good central effect, if possible. Let's drop it just here. That'll have a nice central effect in terms of land value increasing. A little plaza with trees just there. And let's start thinking about our metro system as well. So, metro. So we have one stop just there. I want to have... You know what? No, we're not going to do metro over here because we've got the underground railway. I'll leave that one there just in case I come back and revisit metro at a later time. But we'll try and service this. We'll try and service this district, Kanto, with buses if we can, rather than using the metro, because we have that underground road network already. So hopefully that'll alleviate quite a few of our traffic issues. So just need a little bit more decoration, I think. Let's drop another small playground in for the kiddies. Let's put something in. Actually, no, let's go with a park. Let's drop a park next to our university like that. There we go. Right, so let's speed time up. Let all that zone in. And start seeing hopefully some traffic moving into the area. So you can see we're getting quite a nice bit of traffic coming through on our ring road system. The real test of our ring road that we've put in is going to be when we drop in commercial traffic. That's going to be the real test. When we start to get you know, goods vehicles and commercial vehicles using our ring road system, that's when we're going to really find out whether or not this works or it's just been a complete waste of time and money. But I'm hopeful that this revised version will actually work really nicely. And of course, time will tell. So let's let this zone in a little bit more, and then we'll come back in just a moment. Okay, so a lot of these buildings have now maxed themselves up as far as they're going to go. There's still obviously some upgrading that still needs to be done. You can see some new buildings going in / being upgraded. And what I've also done is zoned in a small block of commercial traffic and commercial buildings as well. And what I've also done is dropped in our bus station just here, our bus terminal. And I've created 2 routes so far. I've created this green route here, which is servicing our residential. So you can see it whizzes along the bus line here towards our residential. And then around here I've actually upgraded to triple lane. And inside, just to help cut down on some of the noise pollution, I've also added some of these treed roads here as well, just to try and, you know, as I say, ease down on some of that noise pollution that we were getting earlier. And again, some more treed roads there. And then the other bus route I've done is to feed workers from the bus terminal over to our industrial. So you can see here, here's one of our buses. And see if we can actually find one on the way in. So we're looking for one of our yellow buses. It'll be coming down the freeway. And it'll peel off on this junction just here. So we'll just sit and watch for a second, see if we can see one of those on the way. And what they do is they do a double loop. So they go into the estate, they loop around it, and then they come out and they loop back around and go into the opposite estate. So we service the wood district first, and then from there we go into the standard industrial. And I'm not seeing any buses. I'm seeing all the buses that are feeding up to our other district. All the way up north, they're feeding up towards Chellington and somewhere else. The West Coast. They're feeding up that way. But I'm not seeing any other buses right now, so maybe we just don't have enough buses running. But we have filled our demand for workers, so you can see that a lot of those businesses that kind of went derelict are rebuilding and re-upgrading, and the demand that we had for workers, it's still there, but it's not as bad. I'm still looking to see if I can see one of these buses on this loop, and see also, I'm curious as to which way it comes from. I think it goes along the top, but rather than through the middle. Oh, we've gone way past our junction, haven't we? Alright, there's one. Alright, so it's pause time. We're going to follow this bus here, so I can show you the route that I've put in to try and feed our industrial estates. So, it pulls in here. We've got to stop here to drop off some workers in this district. And then we've got another stop just there. And I've tried to space the stops so that they that you don't have to walk too far from any one of these bus stops to actually get to a business, so that the workers can be distributed nice and efficiently and quickly as well. That's kind of the aim of the way I've put them in there. So we're going to loop out, go down this little slip road here underneath the roundabout, and come up, and the bus has gone out of service. It's gone blue, so it's gone out of service. But it would then loop up the top, and it would go around and hit a load of stops inside the other district, the main district you can see just there, before it would then come back out, feed down the highway here, and then go back to the bus depot, the terminal. This one's actually going back to the depot by the look of it to go out of service, as are quite a few by the look of them. And you can see all those extra taxis that come on duty at night flooding out. So all of our buses, you can see, pulling back in there to our bus depot. So this entire area was screaming out for workers and full of derelict buildings. You can see the derelict buildings are being reoccupied. Let's just speed that process up a little bit by taking those ones out. We still need to add in some more residential, but everything over here, apart from a couple of noise complaints, which I can't really do much about because it's just going to be busy, you can see that generally everyone over here is pretty happy. I mean, we have, lots of nice parks, and we have good transport links. We have all of the services that we need, so we have police and fire just there, look. We have our schools, we have our university, we have our hospital. So we have everything we need, and we have a crematorium over here as well to service with anybody that croaks it. And then we have a small commercial district here. Let's start to expand our residential zoning a little bit if we can. So I'm thinking of making this block here residential. Just zone that little block in there like that. Make all of this residential here, and then we can always rezone this into commercial at a later time if we need to, but for now, so we're going to make that block there residential, and let's go to select like that. And then we'll make that commercial. Yeah, they are very unhappy with the noise. don't think it's underground traffic noise, because there isn't any underground traffic near them. So it's literally, it's just the noise of, I'm guessing it's the university, perhaps, that's causing them some grumbles, and these guys really aren't happy. Just have to keep sending out the ambulances. Not really a lot I can do about that at the moment. You can see, obviously, I've put in a few policies here. We're going to rename this Prospect Park into, you know, a region of Kanto once we're done. So I'm not worried about it saying the wrong name at the moment. I want to get everything built and zoned, and then we'll actually go in and properly name the districts back into the Kanto breakdowns. But everything seems to be running much smoother. And if we look at our traffic over here, you can see we've got a lot of traffic using our roundabout system over here. We're not getting heavy traffic over here. We're not getting heavy traffic over here. We're not getting huge queues on any of these slip roads. Again, it's still kind of early days because we still need to add in extra workers. But we're back up to 29,000 people, look. So, you know, we're almost back to pretty much where we were when we started doing this. And it's going to need a little bit of tweaking, and obviously we're going to get a lot more commercial traffic on the road very soon, once all these businesses start to pop in over here. But we've got so much space that we can add in that things are definitely going to get a little bit more hectic. But at the same time, with the changes that we've made over here, this should be able to cope with more traffic than it's currently, you know, handling. How much more remains to be seen. And we are seeing some use here as well of our little slip road, which is great to see. Really good to see, especially when they're coming off the estate like that, and then they're going straight onto the slip road here, which will then feed underground. And we can, just a little bit, we can see some of the traffic. If we get really zoomed in, we can see some traffic. As you can see, it's really difficult to see the traffic, but if we kind of hover over this roundabout, hopefully it'll give us an indication as to whether we're getting any big queues. This side's always going to be nice and easy. Let's check the other side. This is the potential problem side, and again, it's all running reasonably smooth. I'm not seeing any major issues over here. And we're not seeing traffic getting pinned down over here either. I'm not seeing any traffic using that at all at the moment. So, you know, it's there, but they're not using it. They're not needing to use it. So everything seems to be working really nicely, which is which is a huge relief. It's a huge weight off my mind, I have to say. I was very worried about whether this was actually going to work or not, or whether I was just wasting more time and more money. But everything seems to be running a lot smoother now. And as I say, we're almost at 30,000, so we're almost back exactly where we were. And look how few issues we're having here. Let's just pull up the info view for traffic. And you can see we've got a couple of little busy intersections where, you know, it's a really short junction, and obviously you're going to have pedestrian traffic getting in there as well. A little bit busy around here, but it's not too bad. Again, it's a combination of commercial traffic, pedestrians, and buses moving around from time to time. But it's all flowing, it's all moving, and we can implement some one-way in here if we need to. Everything at the moment is currently bi-directional. And same again over here, a little bit busy over here, but nothing we can't control, nothing we can't handle. And look at this, you know, we're getting busy intersections, but it's all moving. There's no long queues. You know, a little bit busy over here, but again, it's all moving. We're getting a nice flow of traffic. We're not getting any horrible long queues all the way down the road. None of our intersections are getting completely overwhelmed. If we look over here, this junction's a little bit hectic. We are going to have to rework this a little bit, and this is just a nightmare with the buses. So I have a plan for this. Let's do that right now, actually. So I want to go to 2-lane traffic, and I go to straight. And what I want to do is basically draw up a connecting road over here, like this, and I want to make some changes to our traffic flow where I can. So this road is going to get changed in its direction. We're going to make, well, this is one way, that's fine, and we're going to change the direction of this. Trying to see where the arrows are, see what's facing the right way and the wrong way. That's facing the wrong way. So that means that's facing the wrong way. So is that. So we're going to have a one-way junction there, road traffic going that way. There's a load of buses going out of service by the look of it. See, I'm hoping that putting that as a down road there is going to divert some of the traffic away from the bus terminal, which has been having so many problems. The station's so busy over here, it really is. I might even actually strip that commercial out as well, just to keep the commercial traffic off that section. It worked in theory, but you know, it was a nice little decorative feature, but it's just causing no end of issues in terms of bringing in extra commercial traffic. I just don't want it there, so we'll strip all that out. We could maybe put something else in there as well now, some trees or something else. Look how many people are waiting to use that particular bus line there. It's an awful lot of people, and again we're still getting a lot of traffic flowing down that way. I know how we can change this. Let's change the direction of this road here like this, and change the direction of that road there. Let's get our buses coming in from the other angle. See if that works. I might actually break our bus routes. Thinking about it, it's definitely going to break this route slightly. It's going to send it out looping around before it goes that way. It's a shame we can't just change the direction of that route, really. No, that's just it. They're looping back on themselves. That's just messy. So let's just undo that change. Let's flip that back around again. What about if we... no, I can't do that because that's where I need my traffic to come from. How about if we flip this around? Try and create an alternative route. You see, what I want is I want to be able to restrict all traffic except buses, but there is no way to create a bus-only lane, which is really frustrating. I want just buses and taxis to come down here, but I can't. Look how many people are using this station. It's an insane number of people. We're going to have to really think about this particular junction. But we'll do that, and we'll look at it a bit more closely in the next episode, because we're pretty much out of time. So thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I will catch you back with another episode of Jimsville and some more City Skylines PS4 action very soon.